Once you walked at home, I just want someone to talk to. I want you just the way you are. I need to know that you will always be the same old someone that I knew. What do you take? Do you believe in me? The way I believe. I said I love you, and that's forever. And this I promise from my heart.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are really excited to have you. We are honored, and happy International Women's Day to you all, the ladies on the call, and to the men who support the ladies. We thank you. We appreciate you. We are happy and we are glad to have you today. And tonight is an exciting session because we are looking forward to this conversation. And I know that once I shared the flyer yesterday, somebody was like, are we still talking about this? And I think, yes, I think we still do, but I'm sure our panelists will help us unpack that. So allow me to welcome you to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. We normally discuss, or rather, Get It Right with Atara Solutions seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. And we do this every Tuesday. We choose different topics and we have a conversation around it. Everything that affects people in the workplace, that's what we discuss. And my name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant with Atara Solutions. And allow me to give a shout out to our people. I know Team Ingazo is here, and I know if I don't say this, you guys are not going to love me much. So thank you very much for joining us. I know Shamim, I've seen Barry. Thank you guys for being supportive and supporting one of our own. And of course, I am HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. And I am here with my co-host, Richard and Catherine, and allow me to welcome Richard to introduce himself. You're on mute, Richard.
Yeah, good evening, Grace, moderator of choice. How are you doing? I hope you've had a wonderful time. Our speakers, you are in the place where people come to listen and transform, where people come to listen how ideas are demystified and made digestible. My name is Richard J. Magoma. I am a HR professional. I specialize in training people who want to prepare for interviews. I also train public speaking. And I have a quote for you. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. I'm not saying we have been told that we are those who are supporters, who are completely in that lane of supporting the empowerment of women. Over to you, Grace.
Thank you, Richard, for being a he for she. I almost wondered whether I know you well, because when you said us women, yeah, so yeah, I mean, thank you for always supporting ladies in this. I know you're doing a lot of work in supporting the ladies who are going back to work after maternity leave or taken a break to raise children. And I know you're supporting them in terms of going back to work. We are calling them what? returnship. We're calling them. What's the word?
Yes.
Yes, returnship. Yes. Yeah, those who've taken a break to raise their families and they're going back to work. How can we prepare them and how can we advocate for them to get employment again and explain the gap that is in their CV? And I know you're doing a lot of work. So thank you, Richard. And of course, we have our sign language interpreter, Madam Catherine Sidandi. Catherine Sidandi, I am looking forward to see how the what do we call it? That thing you're organizing, the Mr. Fashion Week or something for the deaf. Yes. I'm looking for that. I'm looking forward to seeing the winners. So Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter. She's an amazing soul. She does an amazing job. And please make sure that all your events are inclusive. Catherine Sidandi does an amazing job towards that. And she's awesome. So Catherine Sidandi, thank you very much for making us inclusive. If you know somebody who is looking to learn more and they have hearing impairment, please ask them to join us because they are also taken care of. Every Tuesday we are here and we make sure that we are trying to make a difference in people's lives. So thank you very much, Catherine Sidandi. And allow me to take a minute to give a shout out to our partners as we continue with this conversation. I know there was a debate around this conversation earlier on our WhatsApp group. But nonetheless, we are here and we shall definitely continue. So we're here every Tuesday, like I said, and we have people who have really supported us in terms of making sure that this is happening. So we have Nile Front Cottages. Nile Front Cottages are cottages located in Uganda, Kampala, or rather Jinja, Uganda. If you're looking for a place to visit for your holiday, vacation, solo vacation, whatever vacation you want to take, then you need to visit Nile Front Cottages. It's 2 hours from Busia border if you're driving, and then it's about an hour drive from Kampala. So please visit Nile Front Cottages. We have Profiles International. If you're looking for people to do psychometric assessments, or if you're looking to become an emotional intelligence coach, then Profile International offer that service. We have K-Square HR Services. These are our partners in Rwanda. If you're looking for HR services in Rwanda, then K-Square HR Services will be your people. They have an amazing training coming up. They are also doing HR consultancy around Kigali and the entire Rwanda. So do not get stuck. If you're looking for partners in Rwanda, then K-Square HR Services will be there for you. And then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions, again, is our partner in Kampala, Uganda. This is headed by my good friend, Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake is a Gallup strength coach, and he has coached over 500 executives. So if you're looking for a coach, then Herbert Zake would be your person. And thank you, Herbert Zake, for introducing me to Liz. I'm sure she'll do an amazing job tonight. And then we have AR Insurance for all your insurance needs. We have Hotel Sapphire. If you're in Mombasa and you're looking for a hotel to just enjoy your nice afternoon, have your conferences, then Hotel Sapphire will be the best bet. We have Tufaha Resort. Tufaha Resort is located in Nanyuki. This is where we are doing our road trip on the 12th of April. Please join us. Let's go have fun. Let's go learn and let's go explore the slopes of Mount Kenya. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. If you're looking to study carpentry, we have Port Sacco for all your Sacco needs. And we have Sotet Kinyumbani, a restaurant located in Nanyuki. If you're looking for a place to eat, if you're just doing your rounds around Nanyuki, please visit Sotet Kinyumbani. They have amazing food, and I'm sure you'll love it. And then I want to welcome you to our road trip. This is happening on the 12th of April in Tufaha Resort in Nanyuki. And this is going to be an amazing night. We have a beautiful lineup of speakers, and we are doing a road trip. So if you're in Nairobi, transport is about 3,000 bob. For the conference and dinner, it's about 4,500. If you want to spend the night, then you can talk to us for accommodation details, and we'll be able to give you more details. Please join us on the 12th of April, 2025, down in Nanyuki for this amazing session. And then Pinky will be telling us more about this. What Women Want is a summit that's happening on the 21st to 23rd of March at Trademark Hotel. They have over 40 panel discussions, workshops, and experiences around career, money, wellness, beauty, fashion, sound healing, yoga, and so much more. There's a gala dinner scheduled for Friday night, and then a ticket. If you type my name, Grace, you get a 10% discount, and you can look out for WhatsApp groups for the details on how to join. And of course, Pinky will tell us what this is all about. So please do not forget, 21st to 23rd at Trademark Hotel. And then we will be in Nanyuki on 12th of April. I see Victor Guerrero representing Siaya County. Thank you very much for joining us from Siaya County. We appreciate the men who come and tell us the differences that we are trying, or rather how else we can become better leaders as women in the homes and in everywhere. So allow me to invite our panelists to do a quick introduction. So we are going to start with Rose. You're going to introduce yourself, what you do, where you're from, and yes, then we can also tell us about something about women empowerment.
Okay, thank you very much, Grace. It's a pleasure to be on this session. My name is Rose Mamo. I am based in Harare, Zimbabwe. I'm an HR consultant, and I'm passionate about women development. Particularly, I work with a lot of young ladies just to get them to be in a good space in terms of coaching and mentorship. When I looked at your topic, Grace, it was very interesting for me. In my mind, I was like, is it still a men's world? I don't know. Because I've lived in a world where women have done such great things, and I think the equality is beginning to come up. I do appreciate, though, that there are some disadvantaged women still out there in the world, but I'm excited, and I'm really looking forward to sharing my experiences with you and those who are listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rose, from Harare, Zimbabwe. Oh my God. Yeah, how about? Yes, so up next we have Pinky, who is doing a lot of work with ladies. Pinky, you can introduce yourself and tell us something about our topic tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pinky Gilani. As you've heard from Grace, I do a lot of women empowerment events. I'm a media personality having a background in radio, television, as well as an editor for several magazines here in Kenya. And I now use my platform to host events, even such as these online, sometimes in person. And we take advantage of the month of March, it being International Women's Month. So during this month, we host a 3-day summit that has all our topics that we cover and more, and a host of speakers as well. Mostly from Kenya at the moment, but it is What Women Want Africa. So we're looking to go Pan-African as well. Tonight's conversation will be really interesting. I completely agree with Rose in regards to the fact that I don't think it's no longer a man's world. However, as much as we focus on the women empowerment stuff and we continue to give knowledge and impart wisdom on the girl child, we should not forget the boy child. And we should be deliberate, especially as women, to include men in whatever we're doing, and also to educate and make sure that we are a part of our sons' lives on a very deliberate level, and because we are teaching them how to be good citizens to our society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I like that, because we have actually one of our questions tonight was on men. How can we bring the boy child on board? And as a mother to a son, I'm very keen on that, because there's somebody who told me that we actually don't have husbands currently. I'm not too sure how true that is. Richard, you can tell us. But yeah, Liz, are you there?
There,
Right.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. So, Liz, you can introduce yourself as well and tell us what it means to have it all.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth Maureen de Casede. My friends call me Liz. So, Zora, you are free to call me Liz anytime. And my new friends on the panel. I am a career banker, 24 years in banking to be exact. I'm a mother and a wife, to mention but a few other definitions that I am. Currently the head of commercial banking at EcoBank. I'm very excited to be part of this conversation. I believe that the women are very much the center of the world, though some of us don't actually believe it, but we are the center for keeping everything balanced. And so I believe in passionately sending that message. And of course, working together with the men. To your question, a man's world, do we have it all? We can have it all, but you have to define what is all. Everyone has a different definition of what completes them. But we are all part of a system that has to operate in a balance that we're always chasing. So happy to join Atara Solutions and glad that the other panelists are from all over Africa. EcoBank is very much Pan-African. I can't fail to say that, and shouts out to some of the EcoBank team that may have dialed in to listen. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Liz. I can tell you there is one EcoBank staff member from Ghana who is on the call. He's
Wow.
very passionate about, in fact, he took the call and was like, is this a question? It's a yes. It's women can actually have it all. That was his answer, straight up.
Yeah.
So, and I know he's typing somewhere very quickly, just to confirm that it is true. So I'm just wondering, Pinky, you have worked with women quite a lot. What are some of the challenges that we face when trying to achieve work-life integration, or is it balance? And what are some of the solutions you've seen?
I think the challenges are they're common, and they're often brought up that women don't collaborate as much as they should, especially when it comes to, you know, the workspaces. It's women are often brought down by other women. When it comes to that whole work-life balance, it is there is a sort of bias, especially when women are on maternity leave. I remember, I'll give you an experience with me when I was on radio and I fell ill. And unfortunately, I was ill for about 2.5 months. And I lost my job because of that. You know, I was going back to work, but I was replaced by a person of the opposite sex. And it was something that was not in my control, unfortunately. And this was many years ago. And, you know, I often sit and I really grapple with that, and I wonder if I should have made some noise around it and about it. But you know, and I feel like maybe we have evolved, maybe we've come a long way, but I still feel that there is some sort of bias still.
I sort of agree with you. They still, I mean, we have made progress, yes, but yeah, I mean, we still look at CVs of women who've just come from maternity leave, and you're like, will she perform?
And
As
also
much as
ageism is also a thing. I mean, you know, like if she's older, can she do the job, or will she be able to last long? And it's unfortunate that we face these things, and a lot of us are not making enough noise about it. We're not talking about it enough.
I hear you. I hear you. And Ibtisam Balala. Hi, Ibtisam. I'm coming to Mombasa soon. She says, prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. We are going to unpack that shortly. But Rose, I'm just wondering, what are some of the experience? Maybe you have had an experience, because I know you're a consultant and you're doing one thing or the other. What are some of, do you have a moment or an experience that you have successfully been able to balance career, ambition, and personal fulfillment? And what are some of the strategies that you put in place to make that happen?
Okay, I'm going to qualify that and say almost, because 100%, I don't know if I managed to achieve that, to be honest. But I think I'm a mother of 2 girls. They are now grown up. I think when they were younger, one of the things that I managed to do very well is to balance making sure that I'm involved in their lives whilst they were still young. So I managed to take on like being a chairperson of the Parents Association at their schools. So what it did, it gave me a bit of structure. I happened to then know what was going on at their schools, and I could then participate in the activities that they were having. I've got 2 daughters with very different, talent. So, and at that age when they are either primary school, high school, there's the school runs, there's the issues around someone finishing sports at different times, and all those things. I'm just starting with the home, and then I'll go to the work side. So getting a structure around my children was, I think, a very successful issue, because I knew what was going on. I was part of the Parents Association. So I was able to actually have very meaningful conversations with them about their school activities, what was going on, etc., etc. At the very same time as well, I was rising in my career. So I was able to also do that very well, I think. But it's about discipline. I think if I'm to go back and say the times that I successfully or almost successfully did it, it is about discipline. You have to make sure that you give each sort of activity its own time. So that is motherhood. And also now the work part. I think what's important is having some boundaries. Yes, I had just been promoted. It was junior management position during that time. But we are also wanting to put some boundaries in the workplace as well, to say, okay, this I can do, or I've got sports for my children, etc., etc. Very, very difficult, because once you say that, people are like thinking, oh, this is career limiting. She's prioritizing her children. But I think it's about having that conversation. And that conversation, you need to have it with the person you are reporting to say, I am a young mother, and I also need to be a good one. I love what I do. And you then have to come to the party in terms of delivering as well. So you cannot then prioritize one over the other. So to me, I think I was almost successful, but let me tell you, the one thing that was missing is the self-care now as a result of that, because you're trying to do all these things, and you forget that there's me time. So that's why I'm saying I think I was almost successful. Thank you.
Interesting. So you're saying we're talking about getting involved and just the kids, getting involved with the kids' lives, and especially because you are in the PTA. So it gave you structure in terms of being predictable in terms of when the activities are happening. That's a very good idea. And then you're talking about just having conversations with your senior so that they can understand that at this point in time, you're going to take leave. Right. And now I understand, Liz, that you're a corporate lady and you work, I'm sure your work demands quite a number of hours. But I'm just thinking to myself, so how do you prioritize self-care? Having all these moving parts in terms of what life demands of you. So what time do you remember Liz exists, and at what point does Liz take care of Liz?
Wow, well, the question you asked Liz, Liz has been guilty for a long time of not taking care of Liz until only recently. Maybe I should comment that initially, when you first have a child, at least for my case, you first put the child first, put the family first, and if you have the social norms that You can't run away from the culture that you're raised in. It can have an impact on the way you think and prioritize. So I think we have a challenge because we are taught to forget ourselves, which is innately unhealthy. So in my case, I think I thought of myself only about maybe 5 years ago when it was evident that I was not feeling very healthy and quite unbalanced. So the fact is you have to be very deliberate. When you must put self-care in the calendar together with the corporate work calendar. I think that was the major game changer, because we always used to focus on the calendar, there's emails, there's school programs, there is, in Uganda, we have a lot of functions that we have to attend. You have weddings, you have all these anti-solutions that you have to provide. You have family obligations. Then if you're married, they have the in-law arrangement, which some people can't avoid. So you have to put everything in the calendar, including yourself. That's one thing that I learned. So there's a friend of mine who is very, very strict on that. I don't know if she's on the call, Harriet, who told us in our network, said, look here, Saturday is midtime, or Sunday is midtime. Choose a day in the week where you can actually allocate time for yourself. Let them be hours. Now, different stages of your growth life demands different levels of requirement of rest, me time, or even simple things like hydration. You could be taking care of yourself, but you forget to drink enough water. You can forget maybe to exercise. So it's so important that you put these routines within your schedule so that every part gets sorted, because you have to have career growth. At the same time, you have to spend some time with the family, as Rose mentioned. It's a delicate balance, and it rarely balances. But at some point, you must be self-conscious. And the good thing about our bodies, they send signals. If you don't pay attention, I always joke with my friends that the body can send you an SMS first. Then after that, it gives you a small phone call. The next time, the body can give you a slap because you've not given it attention. Not only the body, the mind. It can also send you an SMS. You just see the room moving. Then you say, eh, what happened to me just there? That's a sign that you need to shut down a little bit. It doesn't mean it's even work. Even for some of the moms who just had babies, they'll go through that whole postnatal challenge, and we have not done a good job of talking to them about self-care. So we need to tell them and talk about it often, set up support groups, and self-care also needs a support system. If you've not been the kind of person who exercises, you need a friend to go with, or you need a team to hang out with and have a good laugh. Self-care includes having a good group of people to smile and laugh with, and basically break down all your issues and laugh about them and keep life light, because mental health is very, very much part of self-care. And these days it can be quite overwhelming. Yeah, that is my thought on that issue. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Liz. And I like the way Uganda HR is very particular about, the way you guys are having structured fun, complete with an association called HR Fun House. Like, Richard, we need to think about this thing. I want to become a member of HR Fun House. Just unfortunately, I'm not too sure I'll make it for the what do you wear? The last one I heard you were wearing what? Was it tropical when people were wearing shorts and flowered dresses? And then the other day you guys were electing the leadership. I mean, I like that you have time to actually spare and have fun and probably just show the other side of HR and just enjoy yourselves. I like that for Uganda. But just before I bring Richard, Pinky, I was listening to the former CEO of Pepsi, and she was saying that if you're Indian, your circle includes your mother-in-law, your brother-in-law, your whatever, in terms of the community.
Completely. I mean, my daughter is always asking me, how come? Because even at my age and the way that I feel, I believe I'm a very modern person. but I live with my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law. So my daughter's always asking, how come we don't live with our other grandmother? How come it's this grandmother? And this is part of the Indian culture. We take it on, and we take it on with grace and with honor as well. But I think times are changing. I think the younger generation will be able to be a bit more. They will be able to question society a lot more, and it's true. Why should one parent have more importance than another parent? And these are the questions. However, as a woman, you do take on so much, as you've heard from Liz, you've heard from Rose. Not only are we looking after our kids, being part of the PTA, we also have to look after ourselves and make sure that we're, our mental wellness is good and we're hydrating. But then also when you come home, it's a larger, when especially as part of the Indian, it's not every Indian family. Like I said, it's changing. The narratives are changing, but you consider so many more people as well.
Yeah. So at what point do you do self-care? Just wondering.
Oh, I'm very selfish about my self-care. I'm very particular. I've understood how to draw my boundaries, which I think is very important. I think you really need to do that. I think it's something that as moms, as big sisters, as mentors, we need to teach the younger generation to be able to say no, and to tell them that no is a complete sentence, to, sort of make every woman aware that she comes first, in order for her to be able to show up as part of the PTA, as a mother, to be able to show up at work, to be able to show up even for her husband and her in-laws. She must come first.
Agreed. I totally subscribe to that school of thought. Richard, what do you have for the ladies tonight?
Thank you very much, Liz, Pinky, and Liz. Those are wonderful contributions toward the debate. It is a man's world. Is it a man's world? Let us know. Now, my question is this: what is the role of men in breaking down the gender barriers and creating a more equitable workplace? For example, Pinky, you mentioned that when you got sick and you stayed out of work for a long time, it is a man who took your work. Is it a backlash? Do you think it is a backlash? Do you think it was by design that it should be a man? Over to you, Pinky.
I don't know. I was a radio presenter for a mid-morning show, and I don't know, because I felt like it was. I can't say that a man could do a better job, or I was not performing. I don't know. I really cannot justify what happened there. I felt personally, if you ask me, and I have no proof to say that this is true, but I just felt they were maybe waiting for the time to lapse and sort of tell HR, look, she's not shown up for X amount of weeks and we got to replace her. And I was not a part of that decision making. I was just told, thank you very much, but you have now been moved to the weekend. And my ego was just completely blown. So I said, no, I don't want to be the weekend. I want my job back or nothing at all. And they were like, okay, thank you very much for your service. C'est la vie. But I wouldn't. Yeah, sorry.
It's gone. Go on.
No, I was just saying, I don't think a man, it was better suited for, and again, it's just speaking. So I think, you're a great speaker. I'm a great speaker. It was just unfair, I felt.
All right. What do you think now, to Rose? What do you think men should do to contribute towards building an equitable workplace?
You're on mute, Rose.
I think for me, it's for men not to make women empowerment a tick box exercise where you just are saying we've got the numbers and so on. I would prefer that they make sure that it's genuine and there are programs in place that can be put in place. If for instance, you are wanting to empower a woman who is in a lower position into a higher position, have in place coaching, sessions or mechanisms to make them reach the potential that we know they have. Also, the one thing that I've noted, having been in a C-suite from a younger age, I think for me was this whole issue of when I'm in there and I'm sitting with you at the table, it's because I deserve to be there. And it's not because anyone has done a favor for me. I've gotten there on merit, and I want the conversations to reflect that, not to have conversations that are making it look as if I need extra help because I'm a woman and I have to do extra things that you're not expecting from the males as well. I just wanted to comment, I know it was an earlier comment about ageism, which was mentioned earlier on, Richard, if you allow me, but it was looking at it from older age. I'm seeing more and more of this ageism coming into the younger generation of women. I live in a country where we have had some very progressive legislation around maternity leave. Before, we used to have some checks and balances. You could only have maternity leave twice with one employer. It could be once every 2 years and things like that. That was removed. And when it was removed, I started seeing more and more, like insensitive questions. You're interviewing a young lady and you're like, when are you planning to have a family or something like that? And then it becomes very intrusive. And it's ageism from the other side of what has already been mentioned earlier on. I think it was Pinky who said that. So to me, I think one, men can make sure that it's not a tick box. And secondly, just treat me the way you would treat another manager. No one is doing a favor to me. And then thirdly, I think in organizations also, gender-sensitive policies that will allow women to thrive.
Richard, I want to contribute to what Rose has said, especially that part of I'm here because I earned this position, not because of all these things. And also the comments about, I think we are all guilty, not just men, of just asking each other, when are you going to get married? Just because you're over 30, 35. I think I'm guilty of that. I know that for a fact. And I think I am going to start repenting going forward so that then I don't become part of the bias, because sometimes we have conscious and sometimes we have unconscious bias. And I think that part of asking people, when are you going to get children and when are you going to get married, I think that is part of the ageism and probably just increasing bias. I actually thought I needed to comment on that. Go ahead, Richard.
Thank you. I could want to ask Liz. I was meant to speak somewhere, and some people said, yeah, we should have a man speak, and some people said, no, we should have one lady speak. I'm thinking of, shouldn't we be collaborating between men and women so that the empowerment can see the light of day?
You are very right. We should be collaborating. I think there's so much change happening, and I firmly believe in allowing the other party to get context or understand where you're coming from. So for the longest time, there are some things the women wouldn't tell the men because we don't know. The men didn't understand what we go through every month, and maybe sometimes things make us feel unwell. It is just human nature. It's simple biology. It doesn't mean that I'm any less than you. But if we don't take the steps to explain to the men, or if we don't participate or join the conversation with them, right from dads to daughters, right from brothers and sisters, I think the most, if you notice, some of the successful societies are those who try to balance the conversation between the men and the women. Luckily for us in Uganda, I think right from at the national level, there's been great effort to bring the women to the forefront. And positively, some of these programs have been led by men, the gender programs. So first of all, if you do it women alone, there's always a gap. It's not sustainable because it might succeed for a bit, maybe you uplift a few, but what will take it to the next level? So, and at the end of the day, we alone also cannot sustain ourselves. Like I said, we're inherently human. A cat fight may not fail to come up here or there. So sometimes inevitably the boys come in to keep us balanced. But at the same time, the men will also have their ego fights. It can be so big, you can wonder what they're arguing about. Even simple things like football can create a problem and you fail to solve. So it's better we collaborate, we complement one another. Fathers play a very big role in the confidence of the daughters as they grow up. This we've come to see over time. A daughter who has been given the confidence by their father tends to turn out quite well-rounded, as opposed to the other way around. And similarly, on the other side. So it is a case of two worlds working together, but even with the continuous change that is happening, we cannot do anything without working in groups and partnerships along the way. But the underlying point I'm trying to raise here is creating some way that there's understanding on either side, for giving context at the same time, some level of empathy. Some things are what they are. Just take the steps to understand what people are going through, especially ladies, during specific stages. Actually, men would understand better. Because for ladies, no, you're not the first person to give birth. Please, we must finish the work. Then a man will say, no, she's just had a baby. Let's give her an opportunity and then give them. So it works both ways, as long as there is an understanding and a conscious effort to know what everybody is trying to do and giving everybody a part to play with a common goal at whatever level, whether it's work, whether it's family. We all have different goals and interests. It's just important that everybody knows the role they're playing.
Very good. Liz, as a human resource practitioner, what programs can you put in place so that it is easier to onboard ladies to these senior positions? Because there is a school of thought that some of the success traits, I'm not saying a school of thought, that assertiveness, decisiveness, competitiveness, risk-taking are masculine.
So wait, I think you're asking the HR consultant is Rose. Maybe you're calling her Liz.
Rose.
But I can also take a stab at it after Rose is done.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You're talking about making sure that we onboard. I just want to make sure I'm clear of the question. Onboarding women into C-suite positions. Let me start by the biggest challenge. Also, that I've seen. A number of women, when they are in these high-level positions, they take on what we call the queen bee syndrome. They just want to be the only one up there. So some of them, not all, will ensure that they remain the only one in the C-suite, so that they can say, I'm the only woman director, I'm the only woman executive, and so on and so on. So to me, I think the first thing is to ensure that once you've got an opportunity to be in that seat, ensure that you assist with the right policies that also allow other women to reach that position. And secondly, also, now we come to the onboarding that you were talking about, to say, okay, here I am, and maybe there are 2-3 other women who are now coming into the C-suite or into the managerial position where I am. I think one of the most important things for me about onboarding is not to start by, always talking about the negatives around being a female executive. So what you are doing is you're not giving a positive outlook around that. I think it was Pinky or something who said that some of the growth you can get is from men who can actually be very good mentors and so on and so on. So try and focus on the positive. Number 2, one of the things that has worked for me very well over the years is, as you go up in that ladder, there can be camps. Some call them factions. I don't know what they call them in other organizations. The one thing that you should, when you are onboarding a lady, is to say you are not there to be in a camp. You are there to give your professional opinion. You are there to make sure that whatever it is that has brought you up there is felt, is seen in every single way. So that would be the second thing that I would, if I'm onboarding someone who is coming to the C-suite, actually do for them at the end of the day. And then I think thirdly, there's a tendency that people think that once we are in these positions, we have to act tough. Just be yourself. I think to me, that has worked for me. I'm Rose. Sometimes if I need to be soft, it doesn't mean that I'm being a CC or something. No, I am actually being soft because I actually do have the soft skills that allow me to be that and actually make someone's day, make someone feel better and so forth. Because at the end of the day, I think sometimes when we mentor other younger executives who are coming on board, one of the things that we then trained to try and emphasize to say, you know what, you now need to act like a man. No, I can be a woman, and a woman is strong in the softness. So I've earned a reputation myself as a woman with the iron fist in a velvet glove, and you can do that. When you need to be firm, you're firm, but you do it in a way that is soft and makes someone actually feel that they have been respected in their own way. So I think that's what I can say for now, Richard. Thanks.
Over to you, Liz. You wanted to contribute? I think, Liz, you're on mute or something.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, very interesting one on programs that can support the women. I have experienced some programs which are deliberate in helping encourage the women to take on higher responsibilities, and because you are right, some of the research that has been made that shows that some ladies have a sense of fear of what will happen if I take on higher responsibility. Will I be able to balance it out? They want to stay in a safe position. I've been doing this job very well. I'm safe here. No one bothers me. I've perfected this good job. I'm settled. Then they fear to take on additional responsibilities, which is rather unfortunate because sometimes we miss out on really, really good talent. So the programs that I have seen, I think Ignite and others that, different coaches these days are very active when they're working with companies to ask them, do you have any program that enables you to engage with the ladies at different levels and encourage them to apply for new opportunities as part of their personal development plan, and challenge them to be part, basically to be part of their annual discussion. Would you like to take on a new role? So that you you don't allow them to hide if the opportunity is there, because you may miss out on talent. But the same thing needs to happen now with the boy child, I must say. Some of the ladies in some organizations have really, really taken off, and they're doing pretty well. So at different levels now, we just need to assess what's happening to our young men as well, so that we remain balanced. But the programs are there, and kudos to most of the coaches like Katara Solutions, which help to keep us honest, because in the corporate world, you know, numbers is everything. So if the ladies are bringing the numbers, well, bring it on. If the men are bringing the numbers, we just figure out, you can find a whole sales team full of girls, and they're just running the world, but does it mean? So we want our partners to keep us honest. Say you are taking it too far. Let the numbers be managed, so that we take the strengths from the different parties, and then create that balanced talent pool, so that we grow sustainably.
Very good. Before it goes back to Grace, it has reminded me, Pinky, it has reminded me that there was a research recently that showed that ladies who are earning, is it more than 100,000 Kenyan shilling, have risen above what the statistics, they are higher. They are higher. What do you think accounts for this, Pinky? Are women more self-development conscious oriented than men? If we call them, yeah, okay.
So go ahead, Richard, you can finish, because I wanted her to combine with imposter syndrome, because in as much as we're saying there's a rise, and there's a question on the chat about it, where somebody's saying, I really struggle with imposter syndrome. I'm in a regional role and I am slowly slipping into depression. So here in Kenya, we are saying 100 women who are earning over 100,000 numbers have gone up. But yet we have these situations where somebody's struggling with imposter syndrome, which I know is one of the biggest problems, that we are also not earning 1 million shillings. Pinky.
There's so much that I want to talk about with what Rose said and what Liz said, and your questions as well. I feel like first of all, let's talk about this. More women earning over 100,000 shillings than ever before. I think that's a great thing. I think it's amazing that women are understanding their worth and they're stepping into that. My question to these women, though, is: are you still doing this shrug your shoulders business of my money is my money and his money is our money? So I think as much as we are earning, are we also participating in what? And there's a debate about this. It may be an unpopular opinion, but what are our responsibilities? For example, if you have kids in school, are you participating in paying school fees? Are you participating in paying rent? Or are you just keeping that money for yourself? I think it's a big issue. Even with relationships and money, we are not taught, and we have been brought up just knowing that, even our parents, our mothers stayed home and they were looked after. Everything was catered for them. So now we're living in a society where you need a double income, and you need that in order to be able to thrive. And that understanding as well. So you're able to participate in your life together without begrudging the man. So the reason I'm saying this, and I'm bringing it all up, because there was also the conversation around, with the HR, and if you do hire a woman and you give her the sort of like land of the law, lay of the law of like, your job is to do your job, not to get involved in gossip or factions or camps. But then, it's human nature as well. I don't think it's only with women, but it's human nature that we get involved, or we try and do things to make us fit in and become popular within spaces. And then, Liz said something about, the sense of fear. As women, we sort of hold back because we are afraid that if we take this on, then what will happen to us? I think the bottom line with all of this, you know, whether it is participating in paying bills and gossiping at work, and it's self-healing. So women have gone through a lot, especially on the African continent. The African continent has evolved in the last 100 years in so many ways, right? We've gone through so much, and we've also sort of had to be the quiet supporter of the man who's been at the forefront, who's been the warrior. And because of this, we've taken on a lot of trauma, and we've never, ever, ever faced this trauma and dealt with the trauma. So, you know, when it comes to security of a woman, when you're hiring her and you tell her, you know, your job is to just bring in the numbers, not get involved in gossip. A person should know this, but that is if they are secure with themselves. If it's about, you know, a person who's afraid of going forward, the sense of fear is holding her back. But if she has had some healing, then she knows that the sky is the limit. When it comes now to imposter syndrome, Grace, and whoever's asked that question, I think, again, it's self-healing. When you are a healed woman, you show up so much more authentically, unapologetically, and you're not there to put anyone down. You're not there to fit in. You're not there to worry about what's going to happen if I do this. And you don't really mind participating in putting in your weight and paying bills. So I think that's what I'm trying. The point I'm trying to drive home is that we as women are responsible for our healing, whatever that looks like, because we must accept, and whether you like it or not, there has been some trauma in your life, and we must take responsibility for our own healing so that we show up as better individuals and we're able to do much more good, whether it's in the corporate space or with our friends or with our in-laws or with our husbands or with our children. It's on us to heal ourselves so that we do better for everyone around us. Yeah.
That's very true. I think one of the things that we really need to preach is heal. Heal, my sisters and brothers, heal. I think that is one of the gospel that we really need to keep at it. And I'm just wondering, Liz, somebody is saying that there are more women trusted with high-level positions than men. What would be your comment on this? And probably you can also comment on the imposter syndrome.
Oh, that's a good one. Like I said, the women tend to want longevity, safety, security. So at the highest position, they will still try to keep everything secure, try to keep everything put together. We are typically not very high on risk-taking. So the men tend to grow the businesses through taking wild cards, and then the women bring everything back together. So at the highest level, we still need a bit of both, but rightfully so. I think we are a little bit cautious because we don't work for only ourselves. There's a lot of dependencies on us from our family, basically by social construct. There are people relying on you. So then there is that inherent nurturing fact. A woman leader in a corporate position still feels they have a nurturing responsibility, not only for the home, what I would call constituents, but even the people at work. So they tend to carry the entire burden of their organization. And I've seen this with the MDs. Ladies tend to carry, they're always thinking not only about the organization, but they're always also thinking about the people. So a lot of the decisions they make are more sustainable. So to the extent that they are usually better at getting maybe a company out of a crisis because get to the ground and fully understand how to bring it back up. So that's where it comes from. So when it comes to the imposter syndrome, it really depends on how you define yourself. I know those people who are happily career focused, is how you understand who you are and what your goals are. I think the challenge we do face sometimes is comparison. When we are, that same question you asked, how old are you? When are you getting married? We have these things of, shouldn't you be doing this at this time? I think we must preach the word that says we all have a different journey. If we accept the journey that we are on and take it in willfully and be unapologetic, because some of us, if you look at the path to success, it doesn't have to be a straight line. And success can be defined by everybody separately. My success shouldn't be defined by similar to yours, because we all have different talents. The good thing with the world that we live in now has various definitions of people who have made it, both from the inside and out. Some people now can wake up in the morning, focus on their inner passion that they were born with, and then thrive. And of course, those ones are the happiest. Then there are those who have to support others to make ends meet, because survival is critical. So how do you survive? And you have to figure out how to survive. And one thing people should accept is that we are inherently social beings. You cannot make it on your own, and you can't thrive by saying, I've made my money, I'm going to eat it alone, I'm going to survive on my own. You must inherently be a social. The joy or the satisfaction that comes from whatever you've benefited, whichever route you take, cannot be complete. So the essence of completeness is so important. And I always say that peace of mind is one of the most expensive items. It doesn't matter how far you've gone, peace is not guaranteed. So it's really more about your inner being, to talk about what Pinky said, your inner healing. And someone has asked the question, what steps do you take to heal? First of all, be honest. Accept who you are. I always tell everybody, accept who you are. I tell people proudly, I am the daughter of so-and-so. I was from this village. We are from Tungamo, the Ugandans who are here. I got married to a nice gentleman from Mukol. That is the one. That is me. And I'm not going to apologize. This is where I come from. In our family, we are like this. Maybe we are from a polygamous family or not. Accept who you are, where you come from. That's the first beginning of feeling. A lot of people don't accept who they are. And the world we are in now, we have to, I don't know what, the eyebrows must look this direction. Then we have to do the facial thing. Then we have to do filters. I mean, go back to the basics, because accepting who you are just is half the problem solved. So, and then we are inherently social beings. So that is my mantra. Be yourself, really. You cannot duplicate someone else, and then everything else we can deal.
All right.
Yes, and the role of mentors is very critical. I've just seen a comment.
Yes. I like the comment. At women reason with, there's something I've seen from Edna. Women reason with what? Women reason with intellect, brains, as well as heart. They deserve the C-suite roles. I totally agree with you. Yes, and there's another comment I had seen, which says for Pinky, self-healing is everything. Once you take responsibility, you are able to, you all of a sudden have this audacity in a good way to show up for yourself. I actually think so too, for that one. So, and to Rose, as we encourage others to put in their questions as we come to an end, I'm just asking, there's this question, I think we already dealt with it. How do we balance the workforce in the workplaces, as we have nowadays enough women who have skills, ability, and knowledge to deliver as men do? Yeah, and yeah. Yes, Liz. And how do we deal with systematic challenges, though? Systemic, not systematic, systemic.
Was that my question or Rose's?
Rose.
Okay.
Rose and Liz. Rose. Rose Namo from Harare.
Which one do you want to tackle again? Was there two questions? I just want to be sure.
Yes, there were questions. I mean, the other one, I think we dealt with it. The one for balance, because I think we already spoke about it. I just saw a question like that. But I'm just wondering, what are some of the systemic and most critical level playing, or rather, how can we level the playing ground for ourselves and also for our careers and for us as mothers? How can we just show up as wives and mothers and all these constituents that we serve better?
Okay, when you start talking about leveling the playing field, I think one era in our lifetime taught us that work can be done differently. This is the COVID, during the COVID pandemic. So from a workplace point of view, just being open to flexible work practices, because we learned during COVID that it wasn't about presentism or just being in the workplace that got the job done. Actually, for myself, I remember when I was working at home during COVID, I think I was doing more hours. I don't know if many people went through the same, because you're not stopping to go and do a school run, or you're not stopping to drive to work and so forth and so forth. So we ended up just doing much better. So I've found that in Africa particularly, this whole thing around flexible work practices, whilst it's being done in other, with progressive organizations, people just want to see you in front of a desk doing some work and so forth and so forth. But you will find that that's one area that I would look at where we need to actually even change that. And then I know you haven't asked this. One of the things that I'm just looking at, and I was looking at, as a career woman who is working in high-level positions, is this whole pressure that I'm feeling around social media has brought in a whole lot of pressure for career women, or the image of what a successful career woman should be like, should be looking like. And I see Liz was even talking about the filters and other things and so on and so on. So these become very female issues that are taking place and when I'm growing my career, I'm growing it in the public domain, and I'm asking myself, how much of myself should I be giving out there before people start judging me to say, but hey, this female manager or this female person in the C-suite should not be behaving in a certain way, and things like that. So when I look at some of these issues in terms of the roles, I'm in recruitment. I've seen now people going a bit too far, and I'm now talking about some of the things that are linked to that, where people will then go and Google and look at my Instagram and what, and sometimes not give me a job because I was wearing a bikini. I'm taking it a bit too far, but it's those sort of things now that make me sitting here. Being a female, we're supposed to be a role model. You start thinking and you stop being yourself. I keep going back to authenticity, at the end of the day, to say, and it's linking quite well with what Pinky said, is if you are being your authentic self, you make decisions that are to do with your values and you're not even intimidated by anything else. So at the end of the day, I think we've got a lot that we are dealing with as female executives. And what I've liked, though, through that social media is to see how supportive men have been to careers of women, which is quite exciting to watch. And we're already hearing that Richard is also helping out or playing his part. I also want to just say, I like what Pinky said about paying the bills. I've always believed in paying bills. At the end of the day, as a female, If we want to take to be in this man's world, paying the bills also comes with part of the territory, doing our fair share so that people can respect us. I can't start crying and saying I'm a woman, I'm not paying a bill, but at the same time, I want to be treated equally. I think it just contradicts itself. Thank you very much, Richard.
I'm over here thinking, the ladies on the chat, do you agree on paying the bills? Just a question. Because I know that has become
we'll be here till midnight.
I know, right? That is something that, yeah, I mean, but I think women are getting there in terms of paying bills. And somebody is being very honest. Beatrice says it depends. And yeah, I hear you. And Edna says it's cost sharing. Yes. And Simon Frank says, Simon, how is Tanzania? Ati bills should be paid by men. Aha, there we go again. Right. So allow me not to open that Pandora's box. But Richard, did you have any other question, or can we get parting shots? And then Pinky can tell us about what women want.
No, I do not have any other question. It has been a delightful discussion, very eye-opening. We keep progressing when we learn from different sources of knowledge. Thank you very much, Pinky, for finding time. Thank you very much, Rose and Liz.
All right, thank you, Richard. And yes, allow me to just get your parting shot. Maybe I can start from the lady from the, what do we refer to Zimbabwe? Pale chini, Africa. No, they on the map of Africa. They're down there. Anyway.
Southern Africa.
Yes. So the lady from near Victoria Falls. Give us your parting shot. Yes. What do you want us to take away?
My parting shot is it's possible to have it all, I think. I said almost, and I'll stick to that. At the end of the day, I think what's important is, one, the balance. Two, you have to be intentional about it. And then three, I think the well-being, looking after yourself, your self-care becomes very, very critical. And as you get older, you get to realize, I quite liked the example that was given by Liz about, a nice little flash or even an alarm bell and things like that. Let's listen to that voice, ladies. And also, I quite like the idea that we need to look after the boy child as well, because at the end of the day, what we are looking for is balanced people in the workplace. Thank you.
Certainly. Liz?
Okay, thank you once again. This topic we can talk about all night, as you know. So the question goes back, can we have it all? Not really. I would say maybe we can at best 90%. There must be a 10% gap somewhere. But I think at different levels, different areas of your life get more attention as you grow up, and I think you accept the situation that you're in. Whatever level you are as a woman, plan very well and prioritize, as someone mentioned. There's something we're not taught to do, is to ask for help. Ask for help. Know when to ask for help. There's nothing wrong. I don't know who told ladies that we have to be ninjas. We can't do everything. Ask for help. I always believe in plan A, plan B, and plan C, so that it works out. The original plan may not work. Things change. So have plan B, what if, and then plan C. Because you always tend to have different areas of focus. There's home, there's work. So there's like 3 or so things, and study sometimes. Continuous improvement, you must keep growing. Self-care cannot be under-emphasized or over, it's just very important. And include yourself in your calendar. Before I leave, shouts out once again to EcoBank. And I must mention that it's a very good place to work and looks after us very well, and a very balanced organization. So looking forward to more engagements like this in future. Good evening.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. And Pinky, somebody on the Q&A is saying, I love your hair. So please, your parting shot and also tell us more about.
Thank you. I grow it myself. So yeah, thanks. I could give you hair care tips for days and days and days, but I won't take up much of your time. I think it's been a real honor and a privilege to be speaking this evening with Rose and Liz, who have shared some amazing nuggets of wisdom. I think authenticity is something that I resonate with completely, Rose. And the way Liz has been talking about seeking out time for yourself, that's important. But what she's just mentioned is ask for help. And I think that is also very important. As women, we're told to be strong, to be the pillar of the families. And that's not a bad thing, but sometimes we are crumbling inside. And we all know that a pillar that's crumbling is not a strong pillar. So this is why we have our community, and you'll allow me just to talk a little bit about what women want. What women want is a community. It's conversations that count, as we call it. We believe that conversations change mindset, change perception, and once mindset and perception has been changed, then your world can be changed. We are hosting a 3-day summit at Trademark Hotel. And we have conversations, over 40 conversations, over 100 speakers now, anything from money and career. So we've got that conversation that we were going to have here till midnight, relationships and money. We're talking about pay gap. We're talking about trailblazers and transitioning, negotiation, the art of negotiation. These are just to name a few. We've got self-care and beauty. So mental wellness falls in there. And that's a very important topic. Skincare, plastic surgery. We've got society. So artificial intelligence and women, divorce. That's a big taboo topic, but we're talking about it, and trying to conceive. Apparently, more and more women nowadays are finding it difficult to conceive, and also not talking about it. So ask for help, find your community. We also have workshops in these 3 days, how to monetize your social media, public speaking, just to name a few. We also have some movement classes, Pilates, some workouts, some dancing, some healing modalities as well. So we encourage all of you to be a part of the summit if you are in Nairobi on the 21st to the 23rd of March. And Grace has been kind enough to share with her community. So she's got a special discount. If you head over to MOOC, you will get a discount if you add her name as your code. I just want to say to Richard and Grace, thank you very much for giving us this platform to discuss something that is so, so important. And I think, again, I'll just say what Liz said, is the boy child is imperative. I feel like that is being forgotten as we are continuing to empower women. So let's be deliberate on focusing on not only the boy child, but also our men's mental wellness. Just be aware, be aware of what he may be going through. Yeah, I think I'll end on that. Thank you very much, Richard and Grace.
Thank you. And Agwin Rabala is saying, I want to send my wife. How do we book a challenge tonight? Agwins, I have your number. Please send me a WhatsApp. I think you also have my number. And if you don't have it,
Grace will sort you out. Grace will
yes,
sort you out.
I'll definitely sort you out for sure. So yes. So thank you very much, Rose. It's always a pleasure. I met Rose in Rwanda last year, and she's such an amazing soul. And thank you for gracing our platform. Thank you, Liz, for being here. And I will definitely look for you when I come to Kampala. And when
thank you.
Also say hello. I know EcoBank sends you everywhere, so please, if you find yourself in Nairobi,
anytime. My MD is on Grace. So got the memo.
Yeah. Excellent. And thank you, Pinky, as well, for being here. And thank you for the wonderful platform that you have created for us virtually. By the way, everyone, you can check out What Women Want on social media. And of course, you can connect with Liz as well. as well on LinkedIn, and Rose Anamo as well on LinkedIn. You can always look out for them, and yeah, you can just connect and keep the conversation going. So thank you very much, our audience, for being here. You guys are wonderful. We couldn't do this without you. In fact, at some point today, I was worried. Last year's women conversation was we had over 300 people, and then today everybody in our community is actually doing something for women. It means that it's a good sign, because we are getting there. I mean, we are sort of probably just making sure the conversation is going around. So thank you for choosing to be here, and of course, wishing you the very best in whatever else you're doing. And please don't forget to join us, What Women Want, on 21st to 23rd. And then we are also going to Nanyuki in April on the 12th. Also join us. And if you want to know what's happening on Get It Right with the Tara Solutions, Jacinta has shared our WhatsApp group link. Please join us. Just click join and you'll get to know what are the topics we're discussing. And it's not only from us. There's a lot of conversation that goes around there around different topics that support people in the workplaces. And of course, our sign language, Catherine Sidandi. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine and Richard. Asanteni sana. And see you next Tuesday from 8 o'clock again for another discussion around a different topic. And of course, it's always a pleasure. Have yourselves a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Live on YouTube, so you can always go back there and check. And we shall share the recording as well. Good night.
I don't want clever conversation. I don't want you up there. I just want someone to talk to. I want you just the way you are. I want you just the way you are. I want you just the way you are. I want you just the way